While the rain has stopped, people in Kentucky are still experiencing power outages. Without refrigeration, perishable foods spoil quickly. The USDA says refrigerators can only keep food safe for up to 4 hours during a power outage. And that includes fresh fruits and vegetables, which have already been cut.
The general rule of thumb is when in doubt, throw it out, particularly if it's been longer than 4 hours. And you should never taste anything to make sure that it's okay.
Hall warns that eating spoiled foods can lead to foodborne illnesses. Black Soil Kentucky wanted to help people who lost refrigerated foods due to power outages. The nonprofit is giving away locally grown produce for free at their new distribution center off of Lane Allen Road. It's limited to 1 batch per household.
We had the produce that we wanted to be able to get out to the community. We know that, there are so many people that have been affected by this.
The nonprofit planned to give out fresh produce every day from 10 to 4 until Wednesday. But these fruits and veggies are flying off the shelves quickly. Kentucky Utilities is still working to restore power to all of the company's customers that lost it on Friday. KU says Lexington was one of their hardest hit areas. KU says during storms like this, it's important to have an emergency preparedness plan.
It's hard sometimes to gauge when it is going to be a short-term or long-term outage, but it's always important to have a plan for each scenario.
KU hopes to have Lexingtonians back up and running by the end of the day. In Lexington, Maggie Rickerby, WKYT.